I have a bad feeling something is going on between my younger sister and my husband. Rachel, 30F, have been married to my husband, Ryan, 32M, for 6 years. We have a really strong relationship. I would say the usual couple drama through our years, but we have grown from it and have a loving relationship. All was well until about 8 months ago. My sister, Star 28F, moved back to our hometown, after living in Florida since she was 18. Her long-term boyfriend dumped her and moved to a new city, leaving her destitute. The circumstances behind their breakup are still largely unknown. When my sister returned, she told us that he had been cheating with men. I didn't really know him that well, but that sounded far-fetched. I only met the guy 3 times, as my sister would only come home for Christmas, and usually only stay for 3 to 4 days. He accompanied her twice during their 5 years together. The other time I met him was when my husband and I visited them for a day during our vacation 3 years ago. He just didn't strike me as the guy who would have a double life, and just leave Star with nothing. I tried to reach out to him once but found I was blocked, so I just let it go. Star moved back in with my parents, Jenna 55F and Jimmy 56M. For the first month she was here she struggled to find work, so I suggested that maybe Ryan could help her out. He is a higher up at his company, and figured he would have some pull. He did, and she was able to get a position in his department. This is a job in her field. For some background, my sister and I have never been very close. She is the golden child, at least to our mom, and our dad is spineless when it comes to our mom. It's not super obvious, just a million little things. Like we both got cars when we turned 16, but I got an 8-year-old Dodge Neon, and she got a 2-year-old Mitsubishi Eclipse. Her dance practices, outfits, competitions, I know they cost thousands of dollars over the years. Some of those competitions were 6 or 7 hours away, and they never batted an eye. Meanwhile, when I would ask for $50 for a volleyball or basketball camp at the local college, in our town, they would give it to me, but you would have thought I was asking them to build me my own arena. I think what pissed me off the most ever was when I was 17, I was out with my boyfriend, lost track of time, and was 15 minutes past curfew. They took my car for a whole month for that. Then when my sister came home, 2 hours late, and smelled like pot, the next year, she just got a stern talking to. I wasn't exactly sad when she left for college and decided to stay in Florida. Despite all of that, she began spending more and more time at our house. Which at first I thought was nice, as maybe she was making the effort to be closer to me. Then I started to notice that her and Ryan were getting rather familiar with each other. They would talk about seemingly anything at length. They started having their own inside jokes. If I tried to include myself they would say, "Just a work thing." When I asked my husband about it he just said they have a lot in common and are working on several projects together at work. The first real red flag was that after about a month of this she would be there at our house when I got home from work. Ryan and I have different work schedules. While he gets a traditional 8 to 430 work day, I work 10 to 7. This was pretty often. When I asked about it, I always got we had some work stuff to do. 2 months ago, I noticed something that had me questioning my own sanity. I make the bed every day before I leave for work. I always make it so the open side of the pillowcase is towards the edge of the bed. Star was over that day when I got home, she ate with us then went back to my parents' house. As we got in bed, I noticed 2 of the pillows had the cases in towards the middle. I asked my husband if he had been in bed today. He looked a little shook, but said, "No, why do you ask?" I said the beds are not the same as I made them this morning. He told me, I must have been mistaken then, because no one was in the bed. I looked through his phone and laptop without his knowing and found nothing. Then again they work together 8 hours a day 5 days a week, then hang out after work. Why would they need to text? I felt like I was losing my mind. 2 weeks ago my parents invited us over for dinner. It was going fine. Until I saw something. Ryan was simply walking by, Star lightly grabbed his arm and he turned to her. She whispered something and they touched their foreheads together. It was only a second and Ryan jolted up, then kept on walking. Star then just kind of looked at me, smiled, and went back to what she was doing. I'm not an idiot, I know this is a mountain of red flags. I just don't want to believe it. I have been in love with my husband since I was 21 years old. I have planned a weekend getaway to the city. I'm going to ask him about things there. I really hope it's not what I'm thinking. Update 1. You were all right, and my world is destroyed. We went on our weekend adventure. It was a nice Friday night. We had drinks, we danced, we were intimate. The next day we had more planned, and I almost didn't say anything. Really thought he couldn't be doing that with her and this with me. I was so wrong. We were almost ready to start our Saturday, and I point blank asked him if he was having an affair with my sister. He teared up and said, yes, he was. My heart crushed. I asked him why. He said he was sorry, he didn't mean for this to happen. They just clicked and before he knew it they were kissing, then more. I asked if he had been sleeping with her in our bed before I got home from work. He just turned his head in shame. I left at that point. I had nothing with me but my purse and I drove home without him. He got an Uber and arrived a few hours later with my other things. He tried to apologize but I didn't acknowledge him through my tears. He packed a bag and left for a hotel. The next day I told my parents. They already knew. They said they were sorry about what happened. Told me Star had left last night and might not be back for a few days. I'm sure she went to stay with Ryan. That all happened 3 months ago. Our divorce is almost final. Ryan found an apartment to rent right away, and Star moved in with him. I am only contacting him in regards to our divorce. He initially said I could just have the house and the savings. I think this was guilt talking. Then after a few days said that we would have to split the house. I know this was Star in his ear. I had already moved everything out of the savings into a new account, so there was no fight there. Just like that, 9 years of my life are gone. He has no idea what he is getting himself into, she is a narcissist and will throw him away eventually. Star has been exceedingly cruel during all this. A few days after I found out she tagged me in a Facebook post. It was a selfie of her and him giving her a kiss on the cheek from behind. The caption read, "Feeling loved." It was disgusting. I logged out of my account and deleted the app off my phone. She texted me about an hour later saying, "Sorry sis, didn't mean to tag you, no hard feelings, I hope we can still be close. You'll meet your soulmate someday too." I blocked her on everything I could think of. My parents haven't been any better. They pretended to be sympathetic in the beginning. When I told them I was going no contact with Star and Ryan, my mother looked at me and said, "I'm sorry this happened, it shouldn't have happened this way, but your sister deserves to be happy too. You'll meet someone, and then we can put this all behind us." I got really upset and told them what Star had tagged me in and the text she sent me and my mother said, "Well you shouldn't be on that stuff anyway." My father hasn't said a thing this whole time. He just sits there. I asked him once what he thought, and he just said, "I agree with your mother." Then I walked out of the room. I am going full no contact with them as well. The house will sell soon and I'm moving to a different state. I am not telling any of my family where or when. I haven't told them that's my plan, I'm just done with all of them. I wish them all the worst.